More than 77 million Americans, nearly one-third of the country, are tuned in to their televisions to watch Super Bowl XVIII. The Los Angeles Raiders are down 9-28 in the third quarter against the Washington Redskins when the teams pause for a commercial break. Suddenly, a brass instrument sounds as the camera zooms in on a tubular pedway. Marching across the television screen is a line of bald, expressionless, uniformed people. There's a split-second view of a blonde woman athlete running toward the camera with a hammer. Another second later, 4 men in riot gear appear to be pursuing her. At the same time, a voiceover declares, "Today, we celebrate the first, glorious anniversary of the Information Purification Directives." This is the opening of the first commercial advertisement for Apple Computer Incorporated's original Macintosh personal computer. Apple was a clear rising star among tech firms. However, the fledgling company still stood in the shadow of International Business Machines, IBM, the computer industry's corporate juggernaut. In 1981, IBM released the IBM Personal Computer, PC, and gobbled up 26% of market share within 2 years. To avoid being eclipsed entirely, Apple had to release its own PC competitor, the Macintosh. Steve Jobs, Apple's co-founder, partnered with Lee Clow of advertising agency Chiat/Day. They hired filmmaker Ridley Scott, who had directed the science fiction classics Alien, 1979, and Blade Runner, 1982. The Mac ad was ambitious and expensive. The team cast roughly 300 extras, racked up at least $400,000 in production costs, and then paid double that amount for a 30- and 60-second Super Bowl time slot. In the end, they only used the 60-second time slot. But, against a threat as large as IBM, this was a gamble that Jobs was willing to take. As he revealed in his 1984 keynote address, Jobs' view of the industry's future was apocalyptic. Clow and Scott used Apple's 1984 Super Bowl ad to peer into this potential future. The unnamed athlete, wearing an image of Apple's Macintosh PC on her tank top, is a clear representation of Apple. As she runs from her pursuers, presumably Orwell's thought police, she nears a wall-sized screen displaying a Big Brother-esque figure announcing the Information Purification Directives. The 60-second commercial ends with the athlete hurling her hammer into the screen before another unseen voice reads a scroll of black text. On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984. Public reactions to the ad entered the annals of Super Bowl history. When America's televisions cut back to the Super Bowl XVIII game, CBS announcers Pat Summerall and John Madden said, "Wow, what was that?" Mirroring contemporary Cold War proclamations that the United States was democracy's bulwark against communism, Jobs had hoped to pitch the Macintosh as the American computer industry's last hope for individuality. Many consumers bought that pitch. Within a year of its debut, Apple sold 280,000 Macs, surging ahead of IBM's own first-year PC sale record of fewer than 100,000 units. Apple's target audience, it seemed, hoped to avoid the company's portent of an IBM information monopoly. Apple's overall PC industry market share still lagged behind IBM's and later giants like Microsoft. Even so, in 2018 Apple would become the first corporation to reach $1 trillion in value. However, Apple's 1984 Super Bowl ad has been lauded as a watershed moment not only for boosting its market prospects but for revolutionizing the world of Super Bowl advertising. Unlike other ads that aired that night, Apple's felt to many like a short film, then unheard of in Super Bowl commercial lineups. With the media attention that this single ad created, an internal team estimated that the Macintosh earned roughly $150 million worth of free airtime. Adding to the ad's success was the fact that it only aired once on national television, causing some critics to ask whether the added exclusivity of the viewing experience was a stroke of advertising genius. Since 1984, hundreds of companies have tried to recreate Apple's Super Bowl success. One Los Angeles Times business columnist called the ad the moment that Elevat, Ed, the Super Bowl commercials to the level of events within the event. Total costs began to look more like those of a low-budget film, approaching $5 million in 2016 for the airtime alone. Many companies started releasing links to their Super Bowl commercials before they officially aired as a way to beat competitors and generate buzz. Today, Super Bowl ads regularly receive almost as much interest as the game itself. Apple's innovative Macintosh reveal opened the gateway to an era of blockbuster Super Bowl advertising. And in some ways, this corporate advertising brawl has become every bit as cutthroat as the football championship game itself.